Use the microphone. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, hey. So I think that the interesting thing that's going on is, remember, the beginning of the pandemic, right? We didn't even really know we were in a pandemic. A lot of us knew that the quote unquote that COVID started before 2020. Like, people got sick, people were getting sick with some strange thing. 2019, the end of 2019, people were having, there was flus going around, and then all of a sudden it was revealed to us about this thing, right? That already had been out there. I definitely think that's what's going on with this war right now. I think that this war is already going on. It's already started, and we're not being told about it. And understand, one thing I want y'all to understand, and this is not just a conspiratorial thing. Everybody in the government is not with the same agenda. Everybody does not have the same agenda. Everybody has their own agendas, and there's agendas and agendas and agendas, just like the real life, right? So I don't know who's on this particular agenda, but of course there's an agenda to destroy the old government and replace it with a new one. Okay. So, so there are people who are on that agenda. The new government that they want to replace it with, of course, is one that is not not government controlled, but by corporate controlled, right? And why? Because government controlled typically is the only thing that has even a piece of something that is supposed to be for the people, right? That's supposed to have measures to protect the people, the other 99%, not just the wealthy. But as we just seen with this election, that is now not the case. Now what we have is the complete takeover, the complete corporate takeover of the government. And which would mean the deregulation of many things, and the privatization of many things. What does privatization mean? So, like, if you're going to defund and deregulate the police department, now you're going to have private security, right? If you're going to defund and deregulate the DOJ, or even the military, the Pentagon, that means that we're going to have private armies, right? And private military, right? Private armies, private military, corporate owned, corporate sponsored, just like they did the prisons. You know what I mean? So this is what the plan is. The plan is to deregulate and privatize and to turn these things over to basically Silicon Valley. And this war has been going on for a very long time, between the old guard and the new guard. So now we got the new guard. So don't stop to think that the new guard is for the people. Because this is different. This is a corporate. This new guard does not believe in social equity of any kind. They don't believe in that. They believe that you have a fair. This is why they're getting rid of DEI and everything, because they believe that you have as fair a chance as anybody else to survive in this world. You know what I mean? So fast forward this war, right? This war that is going on, like I said, it's almost like, hey, if you want to destroy it, let somebody else destroy it. You know what I mean? Let someone else destroy it. If you want to destroy it, why put your hands in it? This is how Silicon Valley operates, because this is the tech people. They're not more fighting, blah, blah, blah. They're smart. You know what I mean? So the intelligent thing is why get out there and put out the muscle. Why just let them just go ahead and just let them take over it? So the interesting thing is, what did? They all started building their bunkers, right? They even showed Zuckerberg's bunker, right? So they all started building bunkers, all this other stuff. And but that, that's not it. So the first phase of this war is cyber. And this already began. It didn't begin recently. It's been. Don't listen to these people. We've been under a cyber attack for years. At way before, you know, for years, probably about a decade. We've been on our cyber attack and cyber infiltration down to when these countries got on social media, started putting bots there, started running ads, started controlling the narrative, started planning narratives. They've been doing that for a long time because it's very easy to do, y'all. That's the simple part, right? And then Zuckerberg got in trouble for allowing that to happen, allowing the platform to be manipulated, right? So now, fast forward, and mind you, they got the whole system together. In the military, it'll be the robots. They will have robots policing. They will have robot policing, right? Policing. You've already seen these little robots that are going up and down the street. They'll go up and down the street. Then they have surveillance everywhere. So and they're already showing how inadequate the police are. So they're showing us that the police are inadequate. Get rid of them, defund them, right? And the police's job was to be a part of the neighborhood, to be a part of the neighborhood and be connected to the neighborhood so that they can keep the neighborhood safe, right? And they're not even doing that anymore. So they're not doing that. That they had turned the whole thing. So now you have the the robotic era that we're going in, and that's going to fully implement next year. This year is the year of the agents, which, by the way, I have a class on AI agents tomorrow. So this year is going to be agents. And that's the beginning of robotics in that way, meaning that you create these agents to do tasks for you, but they don't have a body. They just live on your computer and they're going to do certain things. These same agents become the boilerplate for, and actually, honestly, everybody's training them. We're training the robots right now. We're in the middle of training the robots. So we're training the very system, the very robots that are going to take place. And I'm not making out the robots to be all evil and unavoidable because it's not you can't avoid it. It's going to happen, right? But when people stay asleep to things and they don't participate enough and they don't go into it with their eyes open, that's the problem. That's where the problem occurs, right? Because you put way too much trust in these things, So it's like you can be balanced and could say, well, here's where I need and here where we need to put boundaries, or you could just have 100% trust and just let them roll all over you like a steamroller. And that's how things are going to go down at this point. So one of the things I'm going to show you, I told y'all that the United States is displacing the nine of spades the next birthday. And if all of my cardology people, you're familiar with cardology, you very well know that that's just not the greatest card to have. Actually, the card we're displacing now, the six of spades, is kind of tough too. So I'm going to show you. Hold on one second, y'all. For some reason, it's become difficult to share on my computer. So I'm gonna talk spreads at the same time so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk spreads. It's crazy because I'm not even. I may have to quit and come back in, y'all. So just hold up now, because I opened up in the wrong browser. So hold on, hold your horses. I'll be back. I'm back. Hey, y'all. This is really dope how you can keep your screen going, your stream going. I would have been screwed. How y'all doing? Hold on one second. So let me open up spreads. Mm-mm-mm. Was I going long? Okay. So so here we are. Here we gonna be. All right. So first we're gonna look at this year's spread. Age six. It's on the age 68 spread, right? So here's that fire and explosion stuff right here. Displacing the ten of clubs. The ten of clubs is like um political. That's political. But it's also the people. It's also the royals. And you notice that a lot of the houses that were burnt down were who? Celebrities, right? Like rich people, wealthy people, the royals, right? So that seven of spades is sitting in a royal position, indicative of a lot of the damage being done in luxury areas versus not so much regular areas. So that's a key thing to look at. So you're looking at luxury or even political areas, right? So the United States is displacing the six of spades, right, this year. Now, let me explain to you if you don't know what the six of spades is. The six of spades is the card of fate, right? So that means that there are some events that are going to take place that are fated that cannot be stopped. These were already put in place. This is something that was destined to happen. So it's not a freak event. These are some things that are going to happen that were destined to happen. Destiny, right? Written in the book of destiny. Now, mind you, that is also the United States Uranus card for life. So, what does it mean, a six of spades in Uranus? So, Uranus represents the people. And Uranus is also like really, really, really like shocking, of course. And it's another transformational card. It's going to spark change, but it's more in a way of evolution, evolutionary change, like taking you to a new level. So that means that when things happen under Uranus, the things that happen after or what it gives birth to is a next step forward. This is not a setback. It's going to push you forward into the future even further, right? So this is talking about being pushed into the future, right? And of course, we have Pluto in Aquarius, which is also kind of like being pushed into the future as well. So the United States is displacing the six of spades. The six of spades deals with illness. It deals with crossing of boundaries, like boundaries, the opening of boundaries, the closing of boundaries. So because first, how the six of spades works is the reverse sun to the six of spades is the queen of spades. That is the closing down and the securing of boundaries. Then it transforms into the seven of hearts, which is the opening up of boundaries, right? So you have the six of spades in between the shutting down and the opening up, which is why a lot of times the six of diamonds can be, the six of spades can feel like it's shutting you down, like it's stopping you, but then eventually it's going to open up. And that's what it does, right? So we're talking about the closing and the opening of borders, right? And what did we see as we started coming into here? Now we're seeing things flying in the sky, whether they're drones or UFOs or things that we haven't seen. There's a lot of them. They're still there and they're crossing into border space. Like they're in our borders. So even if they belong to somebody else, because the government is saying they quote unquote don't belong to them and it belongs to somebody else, that means that someone has crossed our borders. And remember the Chinese balloon incident. The Chinese, when they found this started what 2 years ago, where there were balloons flying over America, like some silver balloons. And it was like, okay, there's balloons. Who do they belong to? So there was also things that were crossing into our border. And this is all just practical stuff. I'm just being practical. Whatever it is, I do know that there are other beings, there are ships, there are UFOs and stuff like that. But I'm just being practical right now, right? So being practical, there are things that have crossed into our borders and they're over all our major cities. They're not just in New Jersey. They're over DC. They've been over Atlanta. They've been over Missouri. They've been over LA. So they're over, you have these flying objects that our government is saying that they're fine, but we don't know what they are or who they belong to. But they're harmless, right? So it could be one or two things. They could be telling us they're harmless because they don't want panic, right? Because panic may take the advantage of a movement from them away. That means that they have to act, or maybe they have something else on their sleeve to get people contained before they act. So lots of different things kind of like going on. So we already know that there is a play going on, whether it's UFOs, whether it's government, whether it's China, whether it's Russia. There's a play going on right now, of on display right above our heads, right? So six of spades, there's a buildup. We even have an ace of spades in Pluto. And I hate to say it, but an ace of spades in Pluto sounds like something very catastrophic. It sounds like something that is going to bring a lot of death with it. I'll just be totally honest with you. I can't cover that up any sweeter. You know what I mean? And it's in a challenge position. So maybe it'll happen. Maybe we're just being challenged by this catastrophic thing, and maybe somehow it doesn't happen. I don't know. But that's what it means, right? So we look at it like ace of spades stuff. So we have to be on the lookout for the ace of spades wherever it shows up. So fast forward to what I think is going to happen. And the reason being is, okay, I'm now going to pull up next year's spread. And it's not next year, it's the next birthday for the United States. We're talking about the 4th of July, July 4th, 1777, the Independence Day, right? So we're talking about the jack of diamonds then, right? So it moves from the six of spades, which is what, by the way, this is Neptune, Uranus, the six of spades. So Neptune already we know is secrecy, and Uranus is the future, right? So we're talking about or something shocking, right? So the fact that this six of spades sits down in the Neptune row, of course, this is something that we're not, we could only, Uranus also kind of links you in, like you get psychic inclinations. You could see it if you look in Uranian things like astrology, cardology, and stuff like that. You could see it happen. That's what Uranus means. But for the most part, it's going to take most people for out, out of left field, right? So we look at the next year spread. The United States is now displacing the nine of spades. And not only is it displacing the nine of spades, but it is being pushed by the nine of spades. This is a double nine of spades influence, right? The nine of spades is the card of nuclear, the word nuclear. Okay. I can point it out real quick. I think I have access to the card of the name here, and I will show you what the card of the name is. Hold on one second. Let me pull up card of the name, card of a place of thing. Hold on one second. It's trying to get me to log in. Let me log in for y'all real quick so I don't have to, so I have access to it. Okay, so I should have access to it now. Okay, I have access to it. And I'm going to share it. Hold on. Yep. Okay. Just want to make sure it was working. You know how that software be. All right. So okay. So I got this other tab up. So this is a tool that I have on my website called the card of the place or thing. And I will type in nuclear and hit enter and nine of spades, right? So you see, we are displacing when we're sitting in a spread, when we move, it's called displacement. So we moved in the house of nuclear, nine of spades. But not only are we sitting in the house of nuclear, we are being pushed by the word by nuclear, which this means that this is something that has already occurred. This happens before, right? So if that happens already occurred, that will put it in this year. So that means that sometime between January and which is now, and the 4th of July, that's when this event would happen, right? You could zoom in just a little bit more to find more, but that's when the event would happen, sometime between January and the 4th of July. Now, it could very well be we just talk a lot about nuclear, but I highly doubt it. There's other ways that that could show up. And we have talked a lot about nuclear. As a matter of fact, it's already been hinted that, some of these drones was ours and we're looking for a nuclear weapon, right? So, and the interesting thing is, I'm going to show you something else as well before I even go back to that. Let's look at Donald Trump, who is, I forgot how old he is, y'all. So let me get his age. So look at Donald Trump. He's 78, right? So let's look at him real quick and then we'll get back to this. So we'll put in 78 and he is a 3 of diamonds. He is in the same exact spot as the United States this year. Nuclear, right? So he is also displacing the card for nuclear, right? So, oh, I'm not sharing the screen, y'all. So this is Donald Trump's spread, 78. And he is sitting in the same exact spot as the United States, which is nuclear, 9 of spades. And this is kind of what made me think that something really bad was going to happen to him. You know what I mean? But because he's also in the United States Neptune card. He's the United States Neptune placement. So Neptune is not a good place. It just isn't. It's not a good place to be. But at any rate, 9 of spades. That could also mean that he's clueless. You know what I mean? Like he don't know anything that's going on. I could possibly mean that as well. But displacing the 9 of spades. So you got the United States displacing the nine. He's displacing 9 of spades already, which means this takes him to his next birthday in Gemini season, right? So again, that's still pointing to a window of January to at minimum January to June, right? It's still pointing to that window. So, so you have it there, right? And look, on his spread, 6 of spades, he has also the card of fate ruling this spread. He has the number of the presidency, which is the 8 of spades, sitting in the Pluto position. So there's something about him in this presidency in terms of how long it's going to last, which it doesn't look like it's going to last. If he does come in, if he even makes it in, all odds are against it. But I digress. So let me go back to the United States, and that is age 69. Let's look at age 68. I said we're displacing 6 of spades. Let's look at age 69. Notice this is also 69, which is significant of a lot of things. So we'll go to that. We'll get into that as well. But 7 the jack of spades displacing the 9 of spades. Now there's a couple of, first of all, most of these cards are in Mars. That's very key. Most of the cards are in Mars, right? You got a little bit right here, which is in the Venus column and Neptune column, right? Venus, Neptune. I can consider Venus, Neptune being at home, right? While the Ace of Clubs is trying to get the answers to shit, questions, figure things out, and all of that, I can consider that to be being at home, that Neptune, which is Neptune as well. Either being at home or being in the hospital or being in other places. So you have a lot of endings here besides the 9s, right? The transformation card for the Jack of Diamonds is going to be the 9 of Diamonds, which is an end of a lifestyle, an end of a certain way of living, right? Lifestyle endings, poverty, maybe jobs, stuff like that. Always see there's a job endings. It is displacing the 10 of diamonds, which means widespread, This is the Jupiter position. So this is widespread. It's whatever it is going to have a widespread effect on the entire world because Jupiter is the world, international. So whatever it is, these losses are, these endings are going to have a wide sweeping effect on the world. So then you have another key thing. You have this, the Queen of Clubs. What is the Queen of Clubs? The Queen of Clubs here is displacing the Four of Clubs. Me, right? The Four of Clubs. But even more so, it sits in Saturn, right? I'm going to show you something that's very, very interesting. Hold on one second. The founding, the founding date of Washington. Y'all. Washington, D.C. I'm on a keyboard that's all jacked up, y'all. Share this tab. Okay. I want you to look at this. So Washington, D.C. was founded July 16th, 1790. July 16th is a Queen of Clubs Day. And not only is it a Queen of Clubs Day, but it's also a Queen of Clubs month. So Washington, D.C. was founded on a Queen of Clubs Day in a Queen of Clubs month, right? But I want you to look here to what is Saturn to here, D.C., right? So Washington, D.C. during this period is sitting in Saturn, and the next card is the Five of Clubs. Now, why is that so significant? If you want to know what the result is of a card, you look to the next card. So if you want to know what the outcome is of a card, you look to the next card on the spread. So you have Washington, D.C. sitting in Saturn, which is restricted, limited, or damaged, or whatever. And the next card is the Five of Clubs, which is relocation, right? So you have the Five of Clubs. The Five of Clubs is a forced relocation often. It's like, first it begins with, what are we going to do? Where are we going to move it? What are we going to do now? And then it ends with, okay, we found a place because it has a Five of Spades in Saturn. So this is the move. We must move. And the Pluto card to the Five of Clubs is the Nine of Spades, which we already said is nuclear. Okay? So follow me. So we have Washington, D.C. We have the Nine of Spades, which is in Pluto. And all of the Nine of Spades is already indicative of something having already happened. So something happened. And then it's, where do we reestablish? Where do we move things? Okay. And then we have, now, mind you, I could be totally wrong about all of this, and I don't care. This is what we call a multilinear reality, and that's where we live in, and that's where we're becoming aware of where we live in now with Pluto and Aquarius. We're becoming aware that we have multidimensional realities. Do you understand? This is why you can manifest things, because there are realities that are already operating on a string, and you have somehow connected the string of where you are to that particular reality. So this is why you're able to manifest realities. If it comes in your mind, it could be, they said, if you think it, you can have it, whatever. If you can think it, if you can see it, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. There you go. Right? Because if you know it, if it's coming to your consciousness, that means that it's already occurring on a different reality. Do you remember when there used to be a show that used to come on? I don't know, some of y'all know my age, but it was where they jumped from different realities. I think it was called Strikers, something or the other. Anybody remember that? Anybody in the chat remember that show where there was a group of young people, and they were jumping from different realities? You know what I mean? So like this was a reality, they would jump to it, they would jump to this reality. Well, welcome to the side effect of the Aquarian age, time travel. But it's not time travel, it's interdimensional travel. It's being able to jump to another reality, which is what they already can do. We can't. We have not mastered that, which is moving around to different realities. Okay? So it's not necessarily time travel, going back and forth in time. It's going to another thread of reality. The closest thing I've seen to this was the movie Interstellar, which I love Interstellar. And ironically, I believe they were somewhere off of one of the moons of Saturn, which deals with time. And he had come across a pathway to or break in realities, different realities, simultaneous realities, things that are happening at the same time. This is why you get deja vu. Okay, this is why you get deja vu, because all of these different realities already they're already happening. As a matter of fact, the things you think are going to happen has already happened, because by the time it gets to you, by the time it travels to you and travels to your brain and your thought, it has already happened. And it just becomes a reality that you have linked into that you can now make realer. So think about a road that is faded, like the road is faded. It's not a solid road. It's not quantum link. It was a not quantum leap. It was another one. I think it was something with an S. It wasn't quantum leap though. But I know I'm familiar with quantum leap, but that wasn't it. That's not the show I'm talking to. Um, but think about a road that's faded. It's not solid. This is the seven of spades, by the way, as well. This is also the seven of spades. That's why the seven of spades is called faith, the card of faith, and taking a leap of faith, because you're taking a leap on a road that is not solid. Basically, that piece, that intervention between you and that next reality is not a solid connection yet. You have to make it solid. It has to become more solid. Like you got to believe that shit is real, real, real. Right? So this is like walking on water. I just the best way I can describe it is walking on water. You have made the reality in your mind that that water is solid enough to carry you. And a matter of fact, you don't even care that it's not solid, right? So moving on to another reality, solidifying that road to that particular reality is taking a jump to that reality. And if enough people do it, a lot of times it can be sparked by anger. It could be sparked by fear. We all could be scared together, and another reality becomes solidified and begins to enact with all of us, right? So we could all become traumatized together, and another reality, sliders. There you go. That's what it is. Bingo, bingo, the sliders. I knew it was with an S, sliders. So check it out. It's probably on YouTube or something like that. But thank you. So we could all do these things together. Like, have you ever seen where they talked about people just disappeared, like people together, right? So these people have manifested the road, they have solidified the jump to another reality that's already playing out, and they have totally disappeared from this reality. Kids could do it. That's why so many kids have disappeared. You know what I mean? Kids could do it. Kids could manifest that road to a different reality and ascend to that different reality, and boom, they're gone. You know what I mean? This is the walking through the light with a near death experience, right? Because that's going to be when you're just as close to believing in this different reality as you could ever be. So, but you have other beings who have manifested and who have mastered. They master this movement between different realities, and they could come to you and convince you to go back to the reality you came from. They can tell you to go back. This road is closed. This thing is closed. I talked about people with schizophrenia, and I said how they are between realities. They could get between realities. So are people with dementia. They are between realities. So are artistic people. They can be between realities. The gift of what artistic people can do is that they can be in that reality and in this reality at the same time and not even paying you no attention. This reality is trying to get their attention and they're operating in another reality. So I can guarantee you within the next 10 years, this is going to be something that is going to be heavily apparent and known to you, like for real, and get you out of the mindset of time travel, of moving backwards and forwards, which you already are. You're always backwards and forwards. You're in the middle, like you are always back. You're one ball of the future and the past already. It's not about the future and the past. It's about the next linear jump to this different perceptual reality. So I got on a whole other topic I didn't want to get into. However, this particular reality here is becoming more solid. And why? Because you had so many people who have given up. So what they have tuned into is the nine of spades. You have tuned into the nine of spades, right? So you are seeing the downside of things in your personal life, or you're wanting to give up this reality. You want to blow up this reality. You want to burn it down. You want a new reality. So not knowing the dial to a better reality that doesn't require you to actually blow it up, you are participating in the destruction of this road and the movement to another reality is what you're creating. And it's already kind of set in stone. So, and I'm gonna tell you something, like the Buddhists, like the monks that live in what's the name, that's why they meditate all day. They meditate to preserve this reality. They are servants to this reality and they meditate to preserve this reality so that we don't torch it. And guess what just happened recently? Earthquakes over there. Earthquakes. And you know why the earthquakes happen? Because that's a sign to them that we're done with this reality. The fires are a sign that you're done with the reality. The explosions, the storms, the earthquakes are a sign that the collective you, are done with this reality. So there was a mourning that took place. There was a mourning right around the election. There was a mourning that took place. And it felt as if, again, people were done with this reality. So, yeah, Anthony, the shift is here. The shift is simply when enough collective souls have decided that they are done with a reality. And they're very powerful. They may not know how powerful they are, but they're very powerful. They got a lot of powerful energy, and they got enough energy to light a torch to something and be done. So like I was saying, DC, here you go. Queen of Clubs. If you didn't know, it's the Queen of Clubs. So in the United States spread for the next year, where it's displacing nuclear, it's being pushed by nuclear, and DC is in Saturn. And we also have Neptune. So this is another big indicator. Seven of Spades in Neptune is contamination. They often said that if you have a seven of spades in Neptune, that it is not wise to live near water, right? It is dangerous to live near water when they say you have a seven of spades in Neptune, or if you have a seven of spades in the Neptune in a year, you might want to avoid water, bodies of water, right? This could also indicate flooding, flooding that takes place in your basement because of Neptune. So if you have a seven of spades and Neptune, and I'm gonna hurry up and get off the spread because I don't want nothing flooding in my house. So I'm gonna close the spread real quick. No, seriously, we're good. Let's just put out good energy, whatever. But this is contamination. And the eight of clubs and Pluto is cleanup. It's next to the six of spades. It's cleanup. So you have incident, you have nuclear, you have DC, you have we need to move, set up shop somewhere, and we have contamination. Okay. So, and then we also have leaving it all behind. This is us destroying this reality that we don't want anymore. The nine of diamonds, destroying the reality. Destroying the reality. And I'm gonna tell you something very interesting. Let's look at DC. Let's look a little closer. So this is DC. Where is this? Where is DC sitting here? Mars, Jupiter. Mars, Jupiter, right? So that's pretty indicative. We also got the card of war. This is a war card, the three of spades, and it is Venus, but it's also the crossroads. That is the crossroads. Venus is your social, but also maybe domicile, your lifestyle. It's a crossroads. What do I do? Where do I go? I need a new path. Where do I go? So there you have it. You know, a reality, a multi-dimensional reality. If you can come with a better reality, great. Now, mind you, you can create realities and you could still make your jump to other realities or steps towards their reality or whatever, your perception towards that reality. You still have your own planet. You still have your own planet. So you still can have your own goals, what you need to do, but you're going to have to move accordingly and you are going to have to make some changes. Everybody is going to be impacted by this. So what do? You continue on with your plans now, and when you have to make the adjustments, you make the adjustments. That's what the six of spades is. The six of spades is about making the necessary adjustments. So make the necessary adjustments as they come along, but continue on your plans. So I have two classes coming up. I'm about to end this. Tomorrow is my AI agent class. All of this funds, everything you see. No, I don't get nothing from YouTube, and I don't plan on because I don't plan on being a controlled. I have to control what I say in my channel or whatever. So I'm not focused on the monetization of YouTube. I'm focusing on the truth. So we have that. And then next week I have my spiritual dolls masterclass. If you don't know what spiritual dolls are these effigies, these dolls that you make to either help somebody, heal somebody, to help to change your situations, do spiritual work and an embodiment outside of yourself, and work on your children, different things like that. It is very effective for mental health. Like if you have somebody who is between worlds, schizophrenia, or all of these other things, bipolar, and they have other spirits have taken residence in their body, which other spirits take residence all the time, but all of the spirits are not agreeable. And sometimes you may get a spirit that is totally destructive, and you need to get rid of that spirit from the body, or you need to bring this person back into balance. And it's really good to do that with spiritual dolls. So my class is the 17th. Sign up is very limited in number, and you can learn about it and you can learn how to make it. So, or you can contact somebody else to make it for you, but the purpose of these things is to help you to become more empowered, because that's my keyword. I empower. All right, peace.